Hello, Chris here from the Compulsive Canadian Gamer. Here today to do an unboxing video of the brand new PlayStation 4 Pro. This just came out on the market today. Some have been out in the wild for about the last, I don't know, last 2-3 days. Seems like Amazon Canada did a pretty good job of getting these things out early for whatever reason. Unfortunately, mine wasn't one of them. I never seem to be part of that lucky crowd that gets stuff, you know, a day or two before release, but it is what it is. I haven't really had time to do anything with it anyways. So we're going to do an unboxing here, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. One of the new features of the PlayStation 4 Pro is that it supports SATA 3. So there is a big advantage to actually having a solid state drive now. There was before. You still got, you know, pretty decent gains in your loading times, but back when the PlayStation 4 came out, a 1 terabyte solid state drive was, it was about $600 Canadian. It was about $150 more than the actual PlayStation itself. So this time around, things have changed a little bit. SATA 3 is in place, so you can take full advantage of those solid state drives. And the price of 1 terabyte drives have come down under $300 now. So I managed to pick one up on Amazon for about 280 bucks. So I'm going to crack this open. I'll open up the case. I'll show you guys how to change the hard drive, and what else can we do? Something else to note, that if you are changing the hard drive, it's a USB flash drive here, you are going to want to go online ahead of time, and you can Google search how to get there, but you have to get the firmware, the most current firmware for this unit. It's the same firmware that, I should just say, the most current firmware for PlayStation 4. You're going to require that because the first time you put in a new drive, you get an error, or not an error, it just says, you know, that you know, nothing can be found on it. What do you want to do? You have to initialize it, and then it requires the firmware to initialize the drive. So something, save yourself a little time. It's about 300 megs. You do have to put it on a USB flash drive though. It can't be pulled over the network or anything. So sort of just make sure that you have that ready ahead of time. Alright, we will get to cracking this guy open. Now this is Sony's sort of first foray into 4K, or 4K, I guess. Well, that's not necessarily true. It is true 4K for some things, but for some stuff, they're kind of doing a cheeky way of upscaling games in some sense. There's a 4K checkerboard method. With 4K checkerboard, what it ends up doing is it's about 50% of 4K, and it kind of upsamples the image. It looks phenomenal, don't get me wrong. It's going to be a heck of a lot nicer than what you get on PlayStation 4 right now. So, okay, first thing, game manual, quick start guide. Alright, pop this open. Alright, this looks like your power cable's in here. Power cables, HDMI cable, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so you get your standard power cable. They give you your USB charging cable. So it does come with the new DS4 remote, which is a little bit, just a slightly different model than what you guys are used to. This is the controller. Really taking a look at it, you probably wouldn't even notice the differences. When it's powered up, we usually have the light bar on the back here. Let me see, actually, we usually got the light bar on the back. There's now an indicator across the top of the touchpad here in the front. I'll hit that again and let it flash. It's supposed to be so that, you know, you can identify controllers easily when you're playing 4-player games. I don't know what's so hard about doing this and turning it over that we needed to have another light on the front. I play in a theater, and it's a completely light controlled room, so I don't want to have something glaringly bright sitting in my lap as I'm playing. As it stands now, I got the brightness turned all the way down on the controller, but it is still on. Sitting in a completely dark scene in a game, I get a big blue glow on my legs. So, you know, now I'm going to have, you know, a blue glow off the front of the trackpad. So I don't know how much use I'm going to make out of this. I've already got, you know, a couple of not custom controllers, but I got a weight controller and so on. So I don't know if I'll actually even be using this guy. Alright, now the console itself A little bit slightly bigger than the current PlayStation 4, from what I understand. And the hardware is beefier. That's part of the reason that we're going to the Pro model. Give you guys kind of a close up here. Kind of looks like a little bit like a Big Mac. So, got the same standard connections on the back of the unit. We have the auxiliary port, the optical connection, HDMI connection, network connection, and a USB port. That's pretty much it. So there's not a whole lot more to it. You're not getting anything different than what you have connection-wise on the current PlayStation. Let's see. So. I'm not 100% sure how to do the hard drive swap on this guy. A little bit different than the previous PlayStation. You just pop the top off. There was, the shiny part that was on here just kind of slid off, no problem. So let me just take a quick look at the manual here. Hopefully there's information in there. I should have looked this up online ahead of time, but safety guide. Who needs safety? I might not actually have the information here. I may have to stop the video for a bit, go find out how to pop the case off here. I just don't want to break anything. It really sucked day one to put a big gouge in this thing. The finish on it, it's a matte finish. It very much resembles the finish on the PlayStation 3. Kind of that, sort of matte plastic or whatever. Some of the benefits of this guy, one of the big selling features, as I mentioned, was the 4K aspect. So you're now able to output in 4K, and more importantly, you're able to do HDR for your games. Not all games. Right now, patches need to be applied for that to happen, for you to be able to get benefit out of that. But most of the big titles over probably the last year or two are getting patches, from infamous Last Light, what else? Last of Us, Uncharted 4. There's Shadow of Mordor. There's quite a few games that are coming that are getting the PS Pro patch. Pretty much everything going forward, Sony is committed to developers putting in those features. So there's still a couple games that are going to be coming out in the next couple months that may not have HDR capabilities, but the vast majority of games do. Even ones that just kind of came out recently this fall that may have come out a week or two before this. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Titanfall, all those, and coming up this fall we've got Watch Dogs, Final Fantasy 15. They're all getting HDR or Pro bonus processing. So what they have done in the Pro is we've got a better processor. We went from a 1.6 gigahertz processor to I believe 2.1, 2.2, something like that. They've increased the amount of cores for the graphics processor. It's about a 30 to 40% upgrade, give or take. As well as one thing that wasn't really widely publicized is new Wi-Fi in here. You do the 5G band of Wi-Fi. You should see a significant increase in network performance if you aren't wired in. I've got wireless, I've got 5G here at home, and since I switched over, all of my streaming problems have went away. Like, it's really, really decent. So, well, that's something that's a definite bonus for the system. What else? There's you can go up to 2 terabyte hard drive in these guys. Come stock with 1 terabyte. I wouldn't be surprised within the next few months, probably 6 months, we'll probably see a 2 terabyte version. It is just a standard hard drive that's in there. Like, there is no SSD, official SSD version of the PlayStation Pro. That's all sort of aftermarket if you want to do something like that. What else can I tell you guys? Do make sure if you're buying this and you're thinking, you know, I bought a, you know, an 4K HDR, or I bought a 4K TV in the last, you know, 3-4 years, I'm gonna get, you know, PlayStation Pro and it's gonna work, and I'm gonna get 4K and I'm gonna get HDR. Probably not. Be very mindful of what you're gonna buy. If you already have a 4K TV, I see stuff all over the forums, and if you've been following any of my blog and you know, stuff to do with the unboxing of the JVC projector, 4K is not, it's not cut and dry. You know, just because your TV says yes you have 4K doesn't necessarily mean you have true 4K. And HDR, pretty much if your TV was manufactured before December 2015, pretty good chance you don't have HDR. And even if you did buy it after that, there's still a significant amount of televisions, 4K TVs on the market that don't have HDR capabilities. So that's something to be mindful of. You may want to look up that information, go to the manufacturer's website, even if you have to engage support. I know some people haven't been able to find the information that they wanted. Try to download the manuals, try to look at the tech specs for the unit themselves. One of the big problems with HDR is sometimes it's not clearly labeled as HDR. Sometimes you'll see it's UHD deep color. It'll be, some televisions actually require you to go into the menu system and enable a UHD deep color. Some are called other different things. I don't have all the terminology. I know about JVC, and they're just specifically, they're known as being HDR, so there's no, you know, fancy wording for it hidden in any menu system. So be mindful of that, especially, you know, like if you're investing in this console specifically for 4K and HDR, do your homework, or it might be ending up going back. Like I say, there's a lot of people out there that I've just read on Reddit today, dozens of people that go to plug this thing in and all they get is a black screen on their 4K TV and they don't know what's going on. It's not the PlayStation that's the problem, it's that your TV can't handle what you're trying to send at it. So again, be mindful. Alright, that's it. We're going to pause here for a second, and I will be back and show you guys how to pull a hard drive out of here and do the upgrade. Okay, we're back. I was on the right track, just all I needed to do was pull a little bit harder. So I've got the console upside down right now. On this side right here, there's sort of this, you'll see it, it's different, and there's like a piece of tape that kind of goes across to hold this plastic cover in place. So what you need to do is carefully very carefully take this cover, just kind of grab it, you know, if you put your finger in from the side here and pull it forward, it'll just kind of pop out, and this little guy comes off. That exposes a screw that's sitting here on the top. This. Hopefully, actually that's not going to work. It's too big. Okay, we're back. Okay, so did a little bit of research on this. Pretty easy to do. There is a plastic cover on this side. I suggest you flip this thing upside down. Little plastic cover over here. You'll be able to easily identify it because there's actually like a piece of blue tape on it to make sure that it doesn't fall off. So what you do is you just kind of put your finger in this way. You can feel like there's a little bit of a groove there. And just pop it out, and then this comes off. There's two little tabs that are on the inside that hold it in place. Be careful removing it. When I popped it off the first time, I actually broke one of the tabs off. So it still stays in there, but it's extremely fragile. Those are two tiny, tiny little pieces of plastic. So once you pop it off, you need a starhead screwdriver, something relatively small. I've already loosened this screw once when I opened this up here. Just something to note, this is really, really tight, and you've got a very small screw head. So if you're doing this, be careful, do not reef on it, because if you strip this screw, you are totally screwed. What I suggest, put a lot of downward pressure on the screwdriver, get it into the slot, and then take this guy out of here. And there's two little metal prongs on it to help pull it out. That is it. So that's your hard drive there in a little teeny tiny enclosure. These screws are pretty much exactly the same head size, so be very careful again taking these guys out, because if you strip one of these, you are going to be sorry. You will not be changing your hard drive today. Not unless you know how to core out a screw. A lot of videos up on YouTube. If you do that and need to figure out how the hell to get that screw out of there, what you should be doing. All right, that's the little hard drive there. So we are going to pop in the new solid state drive. I picked up a Crucial. Pretty decent drive, pretty highly rated. Took a look around, you know, speeds are up to what they should be and whatnot, so it is a decent drive. Let's see, do I need my spacer? Yeah, alright. Some of them come with a spacer. You may or may not want to put that in. I'll have to see, hopefully this lines up perfectly. Actually, even with the spacer, it makes it a little too narrow. That's fine though, because it will, once you've kind of got the screws in place and stuff, you don't have to worry, it will line up once it gets into the actual enclosure. There's like little rubber washers here to hold the screws. They're not set in there very well though. Kind of a pain. Extremely small and really rubbery. There we go. These little guys are kind of like shock absorbers, and they're there to ensure that the drive isn't vibrating and stuff like that, but they serve absolutely no purpose when it comes to solid state drives, because solid state drives have no moving parts, if you weren't aware. Alright, so got one guy in on that side, and over here. So there's been some tests that have been done already initially, so I'm not going to go into doing some test data on this. I thought about it ahead of time because there's a lot of people asking, but it looks like some sites are finally starting to come back with info. Strangely, Stuff Magazine has some info, some really good info, and just some really neat side-by-side comparisons for loading times on stock hard drive versus solid state. So what you can expect on one of these guys, once you pop the solid state drive in there, you will be getting probably anywhere between 20 and 50% faster load times on levels. So really important if it's a game you're dying a hell of a lot on. Things that tend to load long. They did loads for Tomb Raider and stuff. Tomb Raider was one of the biggest improvements that they saw. That one was actually 48% faster using a solid state drive over this stock hard drive that comes in the system. It's already pretty quick, so don't think this is something that you absolutely have to do for this unit. I just the way that I view this is, there's one sort of finite resource in life, and that's time. So there's nothing you're ever going to be able to do to get more than 24 hours in a day, no matter who you beg, borrow, and steal from. Everybody gets it, poor or rich, doesn't matter. What a solid state drive does is it allows you to buy a little teeny bit of that time back. So if it takes me 20 seconds to load a game, and with a solid state hard drive it takes me 10, well, then every time I load, I'm getting 10 seconds of my day back, or 10 seconds more to play. Some actually pretty interesting guy up on Reddit posted a breakdown of it, and if you game 3 times a week, roughly 3 sessions, 3-hour sessions 3 times a week, broken down over the course of the year, and how many seconds that works out to. You're actually getting back about 9 hours per year, and that's rather conservative. That's only like 9 hours gaming a week. If you're like me, I probably put in about 20 hours gaming a week, so sometimes more if I got some time on the weekends. So it can actually be pretty beneficial picking up one of these guys. If you do a lot of online gaming, it'll kind of matter, make a difference too, just kind of loading that data as you're dying and coming back, it's a little bit quicker. So don't expect to see 0-second load times. I think I've seen some sort of backlash from people saying, oh, why the hell would I put one of these in? I'm only saving 9 seconds or 8 seconds on a load. That's just, the 3-4 games that have been tested, on prime example is on the Xbox One S. They do something a little bit different. You're actually able to have an external hard drive, and in that external hard drive enclosure, you put a solid state drive, and you can install 100% of your games externally, because USB 3 is actually just as fast, if not faster, than SATA 3 in some cases. So I ended up doing that on the system, and Recore was a game that had just absolutely notoriously bad load times for their levels. You could be, when you die, you could literally be looking 1.5 to 2 minutes before it come back in. So they had a patch that came out about a week after Recore came out that took that 1.5 to 2 minutes down to about 45 seconds to a minute. Throwing in the solid state drive, though, took that down to about 10 or 15 seconds per loads, which was really significant decrease compared to, that was the biggest gripe in a lot of reviews, was these load times. So just sort of food for thought. If you can afford it, it is still kind of expensive because you're buying one of these for $300 and you're buying one of these for $5. So, and right now, sort of the biggest economical savings for one of these is getting the 1 terabyte. They actually make a 2 terabyte solid state now, but it's anywhere from $600 to $700. So really, that's something you're going to want to think hard on. Especially considering the size constraints of 1 terabyte. But it is what it is. I found it worth it. Hopefully you will too. Slide this guy back in there, and if everything works, screw hole will line back up, and that's it. I'm not going to get into doing a video of what it's like to actually load the firmware and stuff on there, but I can tell you, I on my old PlayStation I did it as well. I popped a 1 terabyte just regular drive into my old PS4, and as soon as you pop it in, you're kind of greeted with a black screen going, hey, I'm missing my operating system, please plug in the firmware. So that's pretty much it. That concludes our unboxing video here. And I'll be having probably a pile of reviews coming up in the next little while. Playing through World of Final Fantasy right now. There'll be a review coming for that shortly. Turned out to be a lot longer game than I was anticipating. I'm well over 40 hours now. So, but I will be sort of taking note of I've held off on playing a lot of things. I have Titanfall sitting downstairs. I got Call of Duty. I got Battlefield 1. All these games that have these enhancements, and I was really waiting for the Pro to drop before I ended up diving into them. So expect some PlayStation 4 Pro reviews coming soon. I'll also, if I encounter any issues with trying to get the 4K set up, I am going to have something specifically put up on my blog for this to deal with the JVC projector. I've told you guys sort of about the specialized situation I have to try to get things up and running. So that being the case, I'm expecting to have some challenges with this, trying to get it configured and working right. If it goes in and it's super simple, you might just have a note on my blog. If it's going to be a pain in the ass, then I will sort of do a detailed write-up. Some of you have also tracked me down. I had one guy that was, I got to admit, I was pretty impressed with his internet sleuthing with my unboxing video for the JVC projector. It sort of led him to my Compulsive Canadian Gamer page, and he sort of found out my ID and stuff like that and was able to track me back to the AVS forum. I am a frequent poster on there. If you guys are interested in any of my content or talk or forum chat over there, you can look me up at COFN42. That's Charlie October Frank Nancy 42, and that's my name over on AVS forum. I post a lot about projector lag or television lag and stuff like input lag. I still believe that's total BS myth for most folks. So I will be doing as well. I'm going to try to capture some of what it looks like to play on this projector. I've had a couple people come forward and say, hey, you say there's no input lag, man. Show me. I want to see you playing, and I want to see kind of what this looks like, because I've been told, Call of Duty and stuff like that's unplayable on anything over 20 milliseconds, which is just absolute lunacy. A display that has a 20 millisecond input lag is actually pretty close to 1/83rd of a second. Think about that for a minute. 1/83rd of a second. If you got those kind of reaction times, I suggest that you probably head down to your local Air Force office and tell them to start training you on a aircraft, because you are in that 0.0001% of the population. Anyways, I don't want to go off on a rant about that. So if you're looking for me, you can come to our blog, compulsivecanadiangamer.com. You can look us up on Facebook. We've got a page there, and as well as on AVS forum. All right, thanks guys. Have a great night. Peace.